Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to episode number 22 of the Swoosh Podcast. It's myself, Eric. Wait, hold on. I'm hearing echo. Do you hear echo?
No echo. We don't hear no echo.
Okay.
You want me to take it over? I got it.
Yeah.
So we got Eric here. EricL beats. You know what I'm saying? The
34
first
and 44. Let's go.
34-44 New York Knicks, who are now officially eliminated from playoff contention. What a year from fourth seed to no seed, right? And then we have our boy Armani Armastradamus.
See y'all next year.
Yeah, man. There's nothing much more we can say.
This guy right here does not approve. He doesn't approve.
Yeah. And you have me, one of the co-hosts. Officially, my name is the Lakers are butt. I do not go by the name of Ernest anymore. My official name is the Lakers are ass. So, quick news with the Lakers, right? Before we get into the topic, obviously we got to talk about the Knicks. But I want to get to the Lakers first before we dive into the Julius Randle and the whole Knicks situation, and what's that looking like, and we'll give Eric the floor for that. Obviously, we're going to recap the crazy game last night between UNC and Duke. I had UNC. I just didn't trust Duke, but we'll get into more of that. And then as we win closer to the playoffs, right? NBA awards and NBA playoff races. I think it's going to be super important. And how these things are going to shape up. It's going to be real interesting to kind of see how things line up with the playoffs coming forward. So yeah, we're going to touch on the Lakers real quick. Eric is having some technical difficulties that he'll resolve real quick, and then we'll jump into the Knicks. So as we know, Armani, it's been rough, man. It's been a rough year.
Yeah, man.
And obviously, I kind of had some hope on Friday with AD coming back, and I was just like, I'm as much as difficult as this season has been, as frustrating, as comical, as questionable. I've held the consensus of, hey, if Anthony Davis and LeBron James could, with LeBron playing the way he's playing, and if AD comes back and he's somewhat of what we normally see from him, regardless of the fit with Russell Westbrook, I think we'll be fine. Given the fact of the the roster construction issues and stuff like that. So coming to Friday, I'm like, okay, we're playing the Pelicans. It's an important game after we blew that game in New Orleans last week.
Yep.
I kind of felt good going into this game, thinking that we had this. And I'm sorry, because like they're talking about the Lakers right now, NBA countdown, and like, yeah, we're 15 games under 500.
Man, turn that off, man.
It's over. I'm going to concede to say it's over.
Yeah.
I could have said it weeks ago, but I was still contingent on like, hey, if AD comes back, I think we'll be fine. But with no Anthony Davis, with Anthony Davis back, with LeBron James back, both harboring injury. I still think they had a chance against New Orleans to kind of like, all right, let's take this seriously. But no, it's over. The Lakers play today at 3:30 Eastern against the Nuggets without LeBron. He's out today with the ankle injury. The Lakers will lose today, right? They are a game behind right now the Spurs for the 10th seed, We will fall, I believe, a game and a half after today with this loss. And then the next, we got 4 games left after today, which is Phoenix, Golden State, um, Phoenix, Golden State,
We got Oklahoma
Oklahoma,
again.
and we got the Nuggets again. Those are the next 4 games. So
Oklahoma got our number, man.
I don't care. We're losing the rest of the way. LeBron will probably play maybe 2 more games, obviously, so he could be eligible for scoring title, whatever. So he'll go down as the oldest player ever to win the scoring title, whatever. And that's just it, man. It sucks.
Yep.
Looking forward to next season. Frank Vogel got to go. I don't have much to say, man. I don't want to talk about the Lakers anymore this season until we get to the offseason. I don't have much to say anymore about them. We don't deserve the topics. We don't deserve the spotlight. We don't deserve anything. We don't deserve to be put on national TV. Just leave us on Spectrum Sports on channel 276 where people can't find us on cable or League Pass.
Take us off TNT, ESPN,
I would rather
ABC.
take us off for all national TV. I would rather watch the South Bay Lakers right now.
Yep.
It's bad, man, and deservingly so because they took the season from the preseason. I felt like they wasn't serious about it. No one played the preseason. They really took it like with a grain of salt, and now this is the end result of what this disaster looks like. And I hope we get blown out today.
Yeah.
As much as I want like us to compete and show some heart, we don't deserve any of this.
So my question to you is, are you going to watch the game?
Of course.
Okay.
I told you this. I'm in an abusive relationship with the Lakers, and I will forever be crawling back to the door, asking for forgiveness for things I haven't even done.
Let me in.
I'll
change. I promise. I'll change.
I'll be a different person. I'll care. I'll do this. I'll wash the dishes. I'll rub your feet when you come home. Whatever.
I'll take out the trash. I'll do it.
But then in the same breath, I'll get frustrated and I'll leave. You know what I'm saying? But every time, it just keeps pulling me back. You know what I'm saying? It just, the song with Tyrese and Chingy, just pulling me back. Just pulls me back. So, as a fan, look, you just got to take it for what it is and accept the vitriol that's coming our way, and accept because in the beginning of the season, and I wasn't one of them, but at the beginning of the season, a lot of people thought the Lakers were the favorites. I had to slide as a 4 seed. In the beginning of the year, and I was like, yeah, we'll be a 4 seed, but then when the playoffs come, we're gonna beat everybody. But unfortunately, we won't even touch the play-in. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
I'm glad that you brought up the beginning of the season because I'm pretty sure every Laker fan around the world was just extremely hyped that we were signing free agents and good quality players left and right. Like when free agency would happen, I was in Atlantic City. And I'm just like, we just get Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, Melo, Dwight. Remember the first night we was all like, wait, we got Kent Bazemore, Trevor Razorway Ellison. We was like, okay, all right. But then the next day, that's when we started signing the Justice League, man. He was looking crazy, right? So a thought in the back of my mind was like, the last time we stacked up on a bunch of stars, what happened? 2012, 2013. We had Dwight, we had Powell, Nash, Artest, aka Meta, and Kobe. And that turned out to be a train wreck. And then before that, remember we had Shaq, Kobe, Carmelo, Payne. So it didn't work out.
What?
Honestly, we made it to the finals that year.
We made it to the finals that year.
Right. With all the stuff that was going on.
And on top of that, honestly, and I hate to say this guy's name, but if Carmelo was healthy in that series, I think we win that series, man. He was defying Father Time. Regardless of what anyone says, he was playing well. He had a good year. He was averaging, I think, over 18. So, like, I get the consensus with that to 04. Mm-hmm. I think that team is totally separate from 2012 and 2022. Crazy, 10 years, right? 2012, at least they made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I guess it's at the expense of Kobe, right? And that's what it took, but made the playoffs. At least we fought. This team this year doesn't fight at all. I'm done. I'm gonna get frustrated.
Yeah,
I'm just
but it's just the reminiscing of and now we're here at the end of the season. I don't even know if I should say it, but just looking at how the 2012-2013 season went down, right? Kobe had to pretty much literally leave it out on the court just for us to
yeah.
make it to the playoffs. I find it kind of coincidental that LeBron is dealing with an ankle injury right now. Nothing too
Yo,
serious, like
yeah,
nothing
but
career threatening.
it's
But
scary,
this
man.
is something
Mm-hmm.
that was on my mind since the beginning of the season. Something I just never said because I didn't want to jinx it. That was just something I just kept to myself. But now we here with 4 games left in the season. It's like, yo, see y'all next year. See
Yeah,
y'all
that's
next
it,
year,
man.
man.
Like
It's it.
honestly, if LeBron can't, obviously he's out today. But if he doesn't feel, if his ankle's not feeling well by Tuesday when they play Golden, I think no, it's Phoenix, I believe.
Mhm.
Just pack it up, man. Like
Yeah.
just it is what it is. We all know, like they want to end. Like there was a report that came out, like the consensus around the team is that they this is back in March. It was like we got 1 month left. Like they want to end it. You know what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
want to get over it. It's been a bad year. They swung for the fences and they terribly missed on everything. On everything. And then you couple that with the front office crap that was coming out throughout the year and the
Mhm.
drama that's there, and it's a total bad situation. And I and I get it because you want to get into playoffs because extra money, extra revenue for the franchise. But what's the point? We're gonna
Yeah.
get in it. We're gonna get punched by 30 every single game by Phoenix. Literally. We're
Yeah.
gonna get punched by it'll probably be the biggest margin of a defeat that we'll ever see in playoff history if we were going to a first round series against the Suns.
It's
So
gonna be a massacre, man. Jay Crowder and Karen Payne will have a field day on social media.
yeah, save us the headache, save us the heartache, save us the frustration. Just don't it is what it is, man. You guys are not good enough, and you know what? That's okay. Every
Yeah.
team's not going to win it every year. You're not going to win it every
Yeah.
year. I just hope that they realize the mistakes they've made this offseason. They don't bring that crap into next season.
So my
And
question to both of you guys is: was this the most disappointing season for a team that had a lot of expectations?
yes,
Okay.
remember
To
Melo said is if we don't win, it's like the Olympic team not winning the gold.
Mm.
I
hmm.
think of it that level, right?
Well, what
So
Olympic team? Let's say the Dream Team doesn't win, or Redeem Team doesn't win, or just the team doesn't win. Period.
he I don't want to misquote him. I assume he was talking about the dream team or the
Okay.
redeem team
Dream
not
Team.
winning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna take it as this the Olympic team as a whole, all the
Right.
stars put together
Right.
can't win. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
um either way it sucks, man. But 3,000 miles away, there's another team that hasn't done any better. and it's almost parallel to the issues that these two franchises have, from front office and coaching staff not being on the same page, player roster construction, lineups don't make sense. A lot of riffraff between player and between roster and coaching staff. Philosophies, between front office, coaching staff, and the players don't mesh, right? So obviously, the Lakers have been clamoring to get Frank Vogel fired. We all believe he will be let go this offseason. I think his time has run its
If
course.
he do, it's gonna be a surprise, man. It's gonna be a cold
Nah,
day of hell.
there's no, Armando, me and you have a better chance. Okay, we have a better chance of of wishing on a star that the Clippers win a championship than Frank Vogel staying as a Laker. Okay, so listen, listen. Yeah, it's
Oof,
he has to
man.
go. But the difference between us and the New York Knicks is that the Knicks are actually, I mean, the Lakers are actually going to let Frank Vogel go. I think we wholeheartedly believe that. But on the other hand, the Knicks came out and said, no, Tom Thibodeau is our future head coach. Um, so I am totally perplexed and confused on what the New York Knicks want to do.
Oh,
Um, you know, it, it Tibbs is a guy who plays vets, doesn't really like kind of play the young guys, but he's kind of forced to play the young guys because one, you have fan influence, right? And then two, clearly the product on the floor is much better when the young guys are on the floor. But Tom Thibodeau believes otherwise. And hence, this is why the Knicks are 34 and 44. And then you have the Julius Randle issue, the ascension of RJ Barrett, the looming, possibility of Zion. It's a lot of things going on with the Knicks right now. We're going to give Eric the floor to kind of deep dive into Julius Randle first, wanting to leave New York, and how do you feel about that? And then obviously the direction the Knicks have to go to, or where you think they're going versus where you want them to go.
All right, so last week, they won against the Bulls, and then after the game, like towards the end of the game, Julius Randle gets the rebound and leaves the floor in disgust and throws the ball to half court and just heads to the locker room. So after
the Knicks won that game.
Yeah, they won that game against the Bulls.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they won the game against the Bulls. So after that, there was a whole riff-raff of his attitude, what's going on with him, his mental state with the team this year, his up and down play all year this year. Even I was watching the SG post game, and Alan Hahn when Adam went in on him saying, "Hey, you're the leader, you're the guy. You need to show that leadership. You need to show that you're the number one guy on the roster, even though realistically he's not and he should not be." I think that's one of the main issues on why he's been playing. His play was subpar this year, even though he's been averaging 20 and 10, amazingly. So, and then the next day on the Fan, on the Evan Robertson Chris Carton show, Carton says that according to his sources that Julius Randle wants out of New York. So now there's this whole noise coming from sources saying that Julius Randle, of course, will went to the podium a couple of days later, after the game they played against the Hornets, and said, "No, that's not true. You didn't hear it from me. I never said that I want to leave New York." You can, but just watching his press conference, you can kind of see that the environment, the fan base has gotten to him a little bit, especially if you go back in January against the Celtics, when he had that had the thumbs down, told fans to shut the F up, and it's like, that's not how you conduct yourself as a leader on the court. On the court, you're supposed to be, if you're that guy who has been placed on, you're supposed to show that leadership. You're supposed to show that they can rely on, the teammates can rely on you, and the coaches can rely on you to be that guy. You showed last year, even though short season, COVID, fans, 2K fans throughout the whole season, he showed it a little bit. And plus it was a contract year last year. Now this year, his play was subpar. So now the front office has decisions to make this summer, and they have a lot of decisions to make. There's been reports saying that Tom Thibodeau, he's going to remain the coach for next season. Me personally, I prefer not to have both Randle and Tibbs back, but either way, they cannot have both of them back next season. Either one of them has to go. So I'd rather just to clean up the whole mess, just to see where the team is going direction wise. I think they're gonna have to to find a trade partner for Julius Randle. Just to get him out of the New York area, just to, like, get him out, get him elsewhere, just to, like, clear his mind, just to clear his psyche.
So my question to you is, who would you want in return? Like,
I
where
just
does his value at? You know?
Here's the thing though. If the Knicks sell low on him, it's a gamble, because if he goes elsewhere, like say like a Portland, or I don't know, who knows? I don't know. I'm taking a guess. Minnesota, maybe. I don't know. He might show up and be returned to the Julius Randle from 2021. But at the same time, he's seen the outlier of his career, and it's been like, oh, it's up and down, up and down, up and down, as y'all witness as the Lakers. So taking the gamble on trading him while his value is low is a gamble, but they're gonna have to come to a decision to see where this team is gonna have to go direction wise, and just to also clean up that roster. More importantly, um, Tibbs, I think he's probably I think the reason why they want to bring him back, because they want to keep the continuity. They want to keep him as a third year, because when he signed that contract a couple summers ago, the, it was a 5-year deal, but 3 years are guaranteed, and the 2 years are options. So he's going to come back for the third season, but he's going to be on notice. So say like if they have the same season this year, if they're going to have next season, then after next season, you got to let them go. So now, if you look at the roster, you see the roster in its entirety, and how they play the last couple of weeks. You see that they've been playing at 500 since All-Star break. So now you got to look at, okay, you got RJ Barrett. He's got to be the number one guy on the franchise. Okay, and now he's eligible for a rookie max extension of 5 years, 181 coming up this summer. If I'm the Knicks, I gotta re-sign him. I'm signing to that deal, because he's going to be and also the fact that the Knicks have not re-signed their top draft pick since Charlie Wolf back in 1994 is just straight mind-boggling. So they got a decision maker on RJ. I think they it's a no-brainer. They re-signed him to the max. They got a decision coming up for Mitchell Robinson this summer, if they're going to re-sign him to a $12 to $15 million deal.
I think y'all should keep him.
They have to. They got to pay Mitch.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna let Mitch walk away without getting nothing in return, this tells me that what they did to re-sign Noah Noel was a big mistake, and it was a waste of money for him to re-sign. And now this year he hasn't been a no-show. So now you got to pay Mitch. You got to pay Mitch. You got to pay RJ. Some of these players, they got to go. I'll keep Evan Fournier, but I'll put him. I'll rather have him come off the bench. I don't care about his contract. I don't care about the optics. I need him to come off the bench. Okay, and then also you also got the Derrick Rose situation. He's going to be coming back from injury. So are you going to rely on him as your point guard? No. So they got to go out and get a point guard ASAP. They haven't had a decent point guard in the last 20 years, which is unacceptable.
So Kemba's out of there?
Yeah, he's done. He's been out of rotation since All-Star break.
Yeah,
so they made that decision. So, and plus they signed him to a low risk deal last year. So last summer.
Yeah,
so.
They didn't take a big gamble.
Yeah, it was like a low risk, high reward gamble. So
yeah.
So they definitely need a point guard. The front office also needs to sit down with Julius Randle to see where he's at mentally and physically. Okay, because there was rumbling saying that he came into camp out of shape this summer after he signed that contract.
The James Harden effect.
And also there was a article in the New York Post saying that Julius Randle's looking to do the same thing as
Yeah.
James Harden won out.
That's why I
So it's
said
like,
that.
okay, yeah, I see why. So there's that. There's also, okay, who are you going to prioritize more? Because you got a gluttony of young guys, the Quickleys, the Obi Toppins. You still got Cam Reddish, who's injured. You still got Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, and then you got Jericho Sims. So they're gonna have to make a decision. And the fact that they're trying to do two things at once, like compete for a playoff spot and develop these young guys. Like you cannot do two things at once. I had to stick with one plan and go with that. So it's gonna be a real interesting summer for the Knicks to see where they go direction wise. And also we really need to see what Leon Rose, what is his plan? What is he really going to do? How is he going to fix this? Because if they have the same season, like I said before, if they have the same season next year, the clock is going to tick on them. Him, Wes, Scott Perry. So they really need to write right this ship ASAP. Once next Sunday after next Sunday arrives, they need to really sit down and go over what went wrong, what positive they can take out from the season, and how can they get better, and how can they avoid next year what happened this year and going forward.
So last season, was that a fluke? 4th seed. That was a fluke.
Um, I won't say it was a fluke. They overachieved because
Okay.
that roster was not the fourth best team in the East
Right.
easily. I could have seen it myself and was like, okay, but if you remember, throughout the most of the season they were under 500, like 2 games under 500, and then by the
And they
time
picked it
April
up.
rolled around, they won nine. They won like nine straight games.
Yeah.
Then they finished the season 16-4. So without that stretch, they'd still be under 500, barely, and still be in the play-in. So that was
Okay.
where they were at, but they overachieved, especially during the last week of the last months of the season, and it showed in the playoffs against the Hawks. So now they thought that getting Fournier and Kemba and finishing fourth in the East will at least get them to where they need to be, but it kind of set them back a little bit because it showed them the flaws that they have, and now they're back in no man's land. Instead of, okay, last year, if they would have made the play in and then maybe lost that, and they still would have gotten in the lottery. And who knows, they maybe would have had like one of those top 10 picks, like a Scotty Barnes, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green, Jonathan Kaminga, one of those guys to plug him into the roster that they have, and then boom, you play him up with RJ Barrett and Manuel quickly, and there you go. But now they're gonna be stuck in that 10 to 12 range in the lottery. Hopefully, if they like, I want to like I was I don't like saying this, but if they lose more games, even if they have like what 4 games left after tonight, then maybe they can move up into the lottery and sneak it to the top 5. But it is what it is. That's where they're at right now, and it's going to be a real interesting summer for both for the Knicks, especially because they got to figure this out ASAP. Because from the Tibbs to Randall to who's going to be on the roster, to who they're going to go after in the trades, free agency, the lottery. It's a whole lot that they gotta address.
No, you're right. Good stuff there, man. This just sucks. You know, I, I, I again, I called this
I think I know
the
what you're going to
last.
say. I get where you're coming from. I think I have a feeling what you're going to say. Just basketball is just good for New York. You just like to see that excitement, especially around the city. We're all from New York, so just to see that energy, like we looked at that energy last year and we're just like, wow, like the Knicks are really in the playoffs. The
But
city was hype. The
check
city was
this out.
hype, man.
Check
Like,
check this
go
out.
ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, go
If you
ahead.
look at the home playoff games at MSG and Barclays last
Yeah.
year, it was
Yeah.
night and day. It was
Yeah.
literally night and day. It's like you go to Bar. I went so that game one, I was walking around Barclays. Not to go off tangent, but last year I was around Barclays in game one for the Nets Celtic series. There was a lot of Celtic fans in that area.
Yeah.
It was like a
Yeah,
whole
the
lot of
Barclays, the Nets don't really have like
they
they
don't
have
have like
very
a
little like
I
homegrown
only know
fans.
like
So
about 5 Nets fans tops.
yeah, yeah,
Tops.
and honestly, the Net fans that I know were
And they
not
like
Net fans
Kyrie
before.
fans,
yeah
Yeah,
KD
they're more
fans.
player fan base
player
than
fan
Right.
base
franchise.
Exactly.
Um,
compared to
listen, and I know we got to move on to the next subject, but like,
mhm.
it's disappointing to kind of see how the Knicks fell off.
Mhm.
And I had this worry in the beginning of the year when we did our preseason predictions, and I told you, Eric, I said I don't like this. This is not going to bode well because I said what Tibbs wants to do, and you got Fournier, and you added Kimba. What they don't mix at all with what Tibbs wants to do. They don't play defense. It's going to affect a lot. You know, I and then I had questions about Julius Randle, and I was like, is Julius Randle going to repeat the same thing? And all those questions were answered for me, and I was right on every single one. Every single one. And as much as you fought me for it, I was like, you guys are not going to be a top 4 seed. I was like, you guys are barely make the play in.
And
And
oof, man,
and at first I was like, maybe I'm wrong, especially like the first night against the Celtics, the opening night when Kimber was going off and Jaylen Brown was going off. I was like, oh wait,
Evan
I said
Fournier
maybe
went
the Knicks
off.
actually. I said
Double
maybe the Knicks,
overtime.
Yeah, the
yeah.
double
I was like,
overtime game. I
Triple.
was
yeah.
there.
I was like,
was
oh,
there at the
maybe.
game.
Yeah.
I said, oh, maybe the Knicks will actually be good. I may have to, bite my words. But then
They
as the
started
season
five
went
and
on,
one. They started 5-1.
yeah,
Right. There was top of the conference.
right. And when the season went on, I was just like, yep, here it goes. And then like, it all came to life. So I kind of knew this was gonna happen with you guys. For me, I was more frustrated with the midseason trade with Cam Reddish, and then like you guys not knowing what to do with him. I'm like, what did you guys get him for?
Yeah.
You know
That
what I'm
was a
saying? So
steal. That was a steal on you
that was
guys'
a still.
part.
Do you know how bad I want him on the Lakers? Like, bro, and he's clutch too, man.
The
But
fact that here's the thing though, is the fact that he's 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan who can dribble and
He
get off
play
his own
defense.
shot and play
Yeah.
defense, and with
And he's
teammates like RJ
athletic.
Barrett,
and
yes,
he's
with
athletic.
teammates like RJ Barrett and Duke, he's athletic. He could play defense, and Tom Thibodeau like said, no, I didn't want him on my team, and had like a whole bunch of DMPs. It's like, and I gotta watch Alec Burks play point guard for like how many
And and
games?
and that's another issue why I feel like you shouldn't keep Tibbs further than this season, only because he's
Listen,
a coach. He's a coach that's stuck in his ways to the point where,
that's my
well,
thing though.
listen, hold on.
No, I'm agreeing
He's
with you. I'm
stuck.
agreeing with you with that. That's all.
He's stuck in his ways to the point that like he's exiling other players because the one, oh, he has to earn his minutes, or he has to do, like, dude, like at the end of the day, man, put the best talent you got on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And you make it work. Like, and this doesn't go well for free agency. Like, if free agents want to come there, they're like, what, Tibbs is your coach? Nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because like he's so stuck in his ways, players don't want to necessarily deal with that. So like, unless you're getting Jimmy Butler, who loves Tibbs, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, other than that, then I don't see the reason why you keep Tibbs further in this season. I get it, whatever, but like, if you guys are gonna move in a direction where the young cats, are gonna get the bulk of the minutes, and you guys are looking to trade Julius Randle in the offseason, why the hell would you keep Tibbs? Just start fresh with the new cats. Bring a new offensive and defensive system, mentality, and culture in there, and you bring in some marginal vets that can help these guys grow along the way, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of just build as you go. But
Also,
I think that the Knicks were in the middle of, should we, we came here, we signed World Wide West, so we got all these guys in, and Leon Rose. So it was this immediate of, oh, Knicks got to be good and they got to be in contention. So they kind of did that, but at the same time, they realized we're not good enough. And then like, it's just, you can't do both things. You can't try to go for it and then like half-ass build a young roster and then have vets who want to win at the same time. It doesn't work that way. It's either you all in, like if you got like for instance, you got LeBron James on your team, you go all in. Doesn't matter. Like F them kids. Like forget that. You don't worry about picks. You don't worry about developing young guys. You get vets. You get guys who want to win rings, and you go from there. You get veteran coaching staffs and things of that nature. If you want to go young, then that's where you kind of get to explore. And the Knicks organization has to kind of set a precedent on, especially to Knicks fan base. What is the direction? What because half the fan base wants to win. The other half is like, well, we can't win with the guys that we have, so we got to go younger. So it doesn't make sense. So at the end of the day, they got to fix it, and they got to move on. So
yeah, I've been screaming like, hey, play the young guys, go in that direction, build through the draft, and I'll tell you this: how the Knicks won those 2 championships in the 70s through the draft.
That was the last time. Jeez.
Through the draft, they built that team through the draft.
Man, I don't know what that feels like.
How and also how did how the Knicks make all those players in the players in the 90s? Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
They
draft.
got Patrick Ewing. That was their key. That was the key core. But there were times when he wanted to leave. So, but here's the thing. That's the foundation. They got to build through the draft. And they're gonna keep on trying to swing and miss free agency, this and that.
But Eric, you also have to understand, man.
I know stars win.
Stars win, and New York, there's no patience. Honestly, hold on before you, because I know you're a Knicks apologist, but at the same time,
no, I'm
outside looking in.
In New York, man.
At the end of the day, y'all haven't won nothing in the past 40 years, bro. Like. This at some point it's not about we build it, so we got to rebuild again, we got to do this again. Like how long is that? Another 10 years? So it's just like at some point you got to understand the pressure from the front office too. Like they got to win, you know what I'm saying? And it's like how many times they're gonna rerun the same. Y'all been going through the process for 40 plus years. Think about that. Just think about that. Now I hear what you're saying, build through the draft, right? But like y'all tried that, and y'all whiffed on constant draft picks. And I'm not gonna go through like the misses on Donovan Mitchell and the misses on Brandon Roy,
Kevin
Knox,
Kevin,
you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go through like those nuances. But at the same time, man, like it's you got to also understand from the front office view. Sometimes they got to make these moves because they could be pressure from ownership that says, "Listen, I'm not trying to build through the draft." If Dolan's like, "Yo, I don't care what we look like. I'm not trying to build through the draft. I need to win. I need player for appearances, and that's what you got to do." You know what I'm saying? And if it takes getting rid of these young guys, then that's what it's going to take. But you got to understand, like, not every franchise is going to want to do what the fan base wants to do, because you don't know what pressure they're taking as well. So yes, it makes sense, but at the same time, though, it's not like y'all been winning all these years and then all of a sudden, like, okay, you have a little small rut. Maybe it's time we could kind of reformulate and rebuild. That have been rebuilding for over 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this at some point, I'm sure there's pressure from ownership to be like, I'm tired of rebuilding. We need to win. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that even though y'all overachieved last year, that's not what ownership wanted. They wanted a Garden Pact in May and June. They want that. You know what I'm saying? So they got to do what they got to do to win. And guess what? Honestly, if you don't do it, them young guys gotta go. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I stand differently on that. I mean, I think if the Knicks want to win, they got to get rid of Dolan. Like, I understand he runs this,
but he's the owner. That's the thing. He's the owner. He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's like us telling, you know what, man, Jeannie Buss being really cheap because it's family oriented business. She need to sell a team. You think Jeannie selling team because she don't listen to us?
Man,
and also MSG is a public traded company. You think shareholders are gonna like that? He's gonna leave? Like, nah.
That's what I'm. As long as he's running the ship, they're not gonna win.
Yeah, and plus MSG is part of another corporation that's giving him money out the.
People are still gonna buy the tickets to go to the game anyway.
So
You know,
So
tourists are
like
gonna
to
come
them,
if
to the
and it's
Knicks.
like if
It's
like
gonna
if you have
happen. The money's gonna come in anyway.
so
right?
basically if you have $10 billion, who has $10 billion there for like a couple people?
Mhm.
Like seriously.
But what you guys got to find a direction. And it's not just about play the young guys, and you got to also come. You also got to look at it from an ownership standpoint and what they want to do. And I'm sure all owners want to win. So I listen. As much as I like to think the Knicks are going to do the right thing, I don't know. I have to wait and see.
We'll, you gotta wait and see, man.
But as you know, the Knicks are officially eliminated from playoff contention in the Eastern Conference. And then we segue that.
Eliminated.
Yes, and we segue that into our next topic of the NBA playoff races, which has been kind of tight. Last night we got a little bit of clarity in the East between the Nets and the
The
Hawks.
Hawks.
Yeah.
The Nets lose, so the Nets are locked into the play-in. They are locked in, I believe, into the 10th seed as well.
Yeah,
I
right
don't,
now they're in 10th.
I
They're
don't foresee
tied.
them falling out of 10th.
Well,
Who?
they can't. So because
Yeah,
Wizards and the
Because
Knicks
they're,
are
Wizards.
they're
eliminated.
too far
So
Yeah,
behind.
yeah,
So
so
they're
so
already in.
they're
they're,
already
they're,
all the
they're
10 teams are in.
right.
Mhm.
So who would have thought the Nets end up in the 10th seed and the Lakers end up as the 11th seed? But um,
I
you
mean,
know,
but so okay, so the Nets going into the season was a big if, right?
yeah,
If this happens, if this
Hmm.
person plays, if Kyrie plays, we said this the entire year.
And it's
If this,
still
it is still if,
if.
right? Same thing with Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons play, the Nets make it to the finals. We've been saying this the entire year.
He's not
So
playing the rest of the season.
not
I don't
not
think so.
saying that
they're
because
saying he's
remember
ramping up.
he's ramping up. They said I
We'll
remember I
see.
believe it was like January. They went on like a 10-game losing streak. You know,
11.
Yeah,
we
11 game.
11. We
Yeah,
I
didn't
kept
expect
track.
them. We didn't expect them. We didn't
with
expect them to
James Harden.
go
With James
right.
Harden.
We didn't expect them to be in the 10th seed, right? But like, yo, that's
Yeah, this
kind
is
of
bad
crazy.
because they have
That's
to win
crazy,
now 2
right?
games in
Mm-hmm.
order to
Hmm.
get in the playoffs, right?
You gotta win 2 elimination
And
games.
if one of those games is at Toronto, Kyrie cannot play.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
it's a tough situation for them. I
looks like
do
the
think though.
Raptors. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So you're speaking on the Raptors. They've been on they won 5 straight and they're 5th in the East. And they're only 2 games behind the Sixers for 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it won't even matter because the Raptors might actually not be in the play-in. They'll be in the
Right.
playoffs.
And another team that's free falling is the Chicago Bulls, who may fall into the play-in.
That's
You
tough.
know,
That
and
is so tough
yeah,
Hmm.
I
They're 2 games up on the Cavaliers for
because
6.
they've been
right,
they was rolling, man.
yeah, and you know, I've been seeing a lot of reports. The teams at the top, the Bucks, the Heat, Sixers, Celtics. Kind of jockeying for position to kind of not like play the Nets in the first round. Um, I think the only team outside of Milwaukee would have a tough time beating the Nets in the first round, just because it's Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. Like regardless of what anyone says about the team makeup, you're gonna have to put up points to beat them.
But can they stop anyone? That's my
Yeah,
issue.
that's the thing, right? Like to them,
Right.
their philosophy clearly is their offense is their defense. Um, I Man, it's hard for me to bet against Kevin Durant, but the way the team plays defensively, they're just not good. Their
Mm-hmm.
bench is not
Their
good.
bench is terrible,
Um,
and also their other guys are injured so much. Seth
yeah,
Curry, Goran Dragic, they've been out so many games, and it's like
They they
Kevin Durant is forced to score 50 points for the Nets to have a chance to
yeah
win a game.
their
doesn't that sound
guards are
familiar?
under. They,
Yeah, LeBron, gosh,
they're
and they're getting up and like Kevin Durant, he's one of the best scorers in the game, but it's like at some point y'all gonna have to get some help. I'm like, but then again, it's like you had James Harden last year with Kyrie Irving. It didn't work out, and then
they
now
go
this
that
year,
if they
and
go that
then
or if here's the other if they
mhm,
never traded for James Harden to begin with, they'll be a much better team now.
they
Jared
go that
Allen.
if
They would have
Yep.
had Jared Allen. They would have
Caris
had
Karis
LeVert.
LeVert.
Caris LeVert. They would have had all those
Yeah,
guys still
picks.
there. You know, Dinwiddie, they still would have
Dinwiddie.
had. You know, who's playing really great in Dallas. So it's just, listen, you know, I always say this, like players, because there has to be the same energy LeBron gets for KD, man. At the end of the day, people like to, you know, pound LeBron for like constructing teams and being very instrumental in how the team makeup is. And rightfully so. Like the Russell Westbrook thing, dude, you wanted him. You told Rob Pelinka, you and Anthony Davis went to Rob Pelinka and went to Genie and was like, yo, we need to make this trade. Right? Knowing the fit issues, the skill issues, and all that
And
stuff.
y'all needed shooting.
Right. Like we went away from what made us from what actually made us the champs in 2020. And then, you know, so and people blame LeBron James for all the issues that's going on right now. Kevin Durant deserves the same amount of blame for how the Nets, for, you know, facilitating the trade with James Harden. Like he was an instrumental piece of pushing that through, right? And then, like, you know, giving the okay to trade James Harden, you know, again, and, you know, just the whole roster makeup and signing, getting Andre Drummond, getting Patty Mills, who had an offer other last night. Like it's
Getting
just
cooked by Trae Young.
right. You know, it's he deserves some of the blame, obviously. I'm not going to get into the vaccine stuff with Kyrie. He's his own man. He's allowed to make the decision on his own.
Third eye cop.
And Kevin Durant is not the person that needs to hold him accountable for that. So we got to stop this notion of we need to hold Kevin Durant accountable for Kyrie's decisions. Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yep.
So needless to say, the playoff race is getting real serious for the East. I think the West is kind of pretty much. I mean, aside from like obviously Dallas, Golden State, and you know,
Denver.
I think,
yeah,
and Denver, I think, you know, the top two seeds are pretty much locked in with Phoenix and Memphis, and then you'll have the combination of Golden State, Dallas, and
Utah and Denver.
Utah and Denver.
And the
As your
Timberwolves, don't sleep on them.
yeah, I just don't think I just don't. I don't think this year. I think that the plane is where it's at for them, unless it's Utah, because Utah, and we'll talk about them, because Utah's in a free fall as well. I think it's more of a bigger issue with Utah than it's just like, you know, this year. I don't foresee the Timberwolves like coming out of the playing situation.
Cat just had a great year. It's just that, like I said, previous episodes, the West just was really not that good as they used to be. So that was why these teams, you can't really discredit the Memphis Grizzlies because they came and handled their business. We didn't have the Grizzlies sitting at the second seed in the Western Conference. But with the Timberwolves, like they were beating good quality teams. They beat the Suns the other night. Cat had a really good year.
And they beat the Nuggets Friday
night.
And they
beat the Nuggets, right. So they was kind of like just seeing the opportunity. All right, you know, this team is short-handed. This team is short-handed. Like, you know, Lakers are dysfunctional. Let's just everybody take advantage of the Lakers. But, you know, let's just take advantage of what we have. Like, we have a opportunity here. But also they got rising stars and Anthony Edwards, and Cat is one of the, you know, top bigs in the league. So why not, right?
Yeah. I'll ask you guys a question. Like, where do you see the final seedings falling into place? And kind of give me your matchups, your final matches, what you think East and West is going to look like, seeding 1 through 8.
1 through 8.
Oh man!
All right, so you want to start the East or West?
Doesn't matter, your pick. But it's your prediction on how you think it's going to end up, not what it is now.
All right. So for the East, Miami's going to be. I think Miami's going to finish 1 seed, and I think the Hawks are going to finish the 8 seed.
Jimmy Butler so overrated. Oh my god.
I know.
Sean. the worst contract in NBA history, Sean. He will make $52 million at the age of 36, and he shoots he shot 9% for the month of March from the 3-point line. He's shooting a whopping 22% from the 3-point line this year. That is actually worse than Russell Westbrook. So let's keep the same energy for Jimmy Butler, okay? Jimmy Butler. Yeah, heat culture.
All right, so I think the 2-7 match would be the Bucks and the Cavaliers. The 3-6 match would be the Celtics and the Raptors.
So who's your 1-8?
The Hawks and the Heat.
Oh, Hawks and Heat. Okay.
Yeah,
You don't have the Nets making it out the play-in?
I
That's
think the
interesting.
okay. So
What?
I got them
That's
beating.
that.
Okay, so I got the Nets beating the Hornets,
Here we
but
go
they
again.
lose to the Hawks for the ace side for the ace feed
Wow.
in Atlanta because Trey Young, knowing him, he's gonna go off for 40.
I'm not.
Listen,
Your prediction, but ain't no way in hell I'm trusting Trey Young over Kevin Durant in a playoff game situation. That is wow.
listen, listen. I got my
Oh,
reasons,
wow.
all right? After what Ice
Well,
Trey
we
did
know
last
we
year.
know we got your reasons. You're a Knicks fan. That's clearly number one.
No, also Ice Trey. Listen,
Uh,
I gotta admit, man.
he
I
gives you
gotta admit,
nightmares.
man.
Oh, okay,
Jeez. All
guys,
right, so
we have a new
Yeah,
improved Nick
PTSD.
killer.
yeah. All right, and
Trey Young.
just to finish my East matchups, and my 4-5 match would be Sixers and Bulls.
That's a break for the Sixers. I don't want. Oh, I want them. I want them losing in the first round. Go ahead,
The feel
Armani.
some heat. All right. Eastern Conference, I have Brooklyn making the play in. I got Miami 1-8. I got the Hawks falling out for the I have for the two Milwaukee and Cleveland pretty much stands. I have Toronto. No. I have Chicago and Boston. And I have Philly and Toronto. I feel like that's going to be a dogfight. Toronto's going to really get up for that.
That's a
Okay.
sleeper team, the Raptors, man. Scotty Barnes.
I feel like they're going to get up for that. I feel like because Philly's gonna walk in there,
There's a ton of
like
pressure.
right, high almighty, and Toronto is that scrappy.
In sleeper team.
We're gonna punch you in the face type team, especially when they go on the road, to
And
to to Canada.
and
Those fans
also
are gonna
they
be crazy, man.
they got championship experience. Fred VanVleet, Coach Nick
Yep,
Nurse,
yep,
Pascal Siakam.
yep,
So there's still that championship DNA is still there from Toronto.
yep. And then real quick, last night's game, Doc Rivers publicly accused James Harden for
Yeah,
like
that's
the
not a good
L.
sign.
So you
That's
see what
not
I'm
a good
saying? So
sign.
you got this
What did I say to you
lingering
guys?
Yep,
going into
you
the
said it,
If it
playoffs.
was
Ernest. You
not,
said it. You said
if it
it.
wasn't last episode, the episode before, I don't remember. I was just like, I'm telling you right now, Doc Rivers is not going to be the coach next year, right?
Mhm,
And then
Mhm.
two, James Harden is going to struggle. Like
mhm.
it's all peaches and cream now, right? When they first came out, Kendrick Perkins with the best duos is Kobe and Shaq. Oh, forget that. The best duos is Magic and Kareem. Like,
Kareem.
stop it. Like, stop it. Like, enough of that crap.
You know you
You know what
need
I'm saying?
clickbait. Mm.
Like, yeah, it's that stuff annoys me. But I told y'all, I said, y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see. And we're here. We're here. And I guarantee if they lose in the first round, Doc Rivers is the first to go.
Mhm.
Mike D'Antoni will be the coach next season.
Game
You will see the Houston 76ers in Philadelphia.
like they're gonna be down 3 games to 2 in Toronto. Game 6, down 8 in the fourth quarter late.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
James Harden is shooting 3 for 45 from the field.
yeah.
So
Yep.
for me,
Do not sleep on Toronto, man.
yeah, no, for sure. For the East, for me, I got uh oh, the 1 seed. I'm gonna go with the Celtics because they have the best defense in the league right now. And personally, I think the Heat are going to be smart enough to fall down to avoid the Nets because I think the Nets can beat them in the first round series. So I'm gonna go with the Celtics as one. The 1-8 matchup will be Celtics and Nets because there's no way in hell the Nets are losing to the Hornets, and there's no way in hell the Nets are losing to the Cavs or Hawks. In a one game playoff situation, I'm not betting against Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That is insane to do for
Yeah.
me. So 1-8 is Celtics, Nets. 2 seed, I got the Bucks. The Bucks versus the Hawks. I have the Cavaliers missing the playoffs, guys.
Mm.
Only because at the end of the day, missing Jared Allen, Evan Mobley's been hurt. I know he's coming back, but like
Yeah.
him being hurt, and they have these 4 games left. They're just inexperienced. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of blossom a little too early. So I got
Mm.
But
them.
I think with them missing their guys. Remember, we spoke about this a couple episodes ago. They have role plays that can fill in. Not saying Kevin Love is going to get you blocks and Lloyd Malkin is going to be a defensive stopper,
But
but
is
you
it
still got
enough?
right. Is it? I get what you're saying. Right? Is it still enough? But
Right.
they've been adopting this play style, this mentality where it's like, all right,
Next man
you
up.
could right. I could take Mobley, I could take Jared Allen out the game, but I got Laurie marketing and I got K Love coming off the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying? So
I hear you. But just the other day, they got smoked by the Hawks at
yeah,
home. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Hawks beating them. The
And
Hawks,
Karis LeVert has still been struggling.
right? I got the
Yeah.
Hawks beating them. Hawks wind up as a 7 seed, and I got the Nets beating the Hornets and the Cavs. Punching them in as the 8 seed. So
Mhm.
the 2 seed, I have the Bucks and the Hawks as the 2-7 matchup. I got the Heat as the 3rd seed against the Bulls. And then 4 and 5. I think Toronto and Philly stay where they're at. And that's kind of like my first round matchup and how the playoffs are gonna wind up ending out for the East. Armani taking on for the West.
All right, for the West, Philly, excuse me, Philly and Clippers. I think that's going to be a good one. That's going to
You
be
mean
a good matchup
Phoenix?
right there.
Phoenix and
Yeah,
Clippers. Yeah,
yeah. Excuse me, Phoenix and Clippers, especially with PG coming back. That's going to be really good. The second seed, Memphis and sheesh, yeah, it's locked in. Memphis and Minnie. For the third, the 3 and 6, I think is going to be Golden State and Utah. Utah's been struggling, like
yeah.
we spoke about. They've been blowing leads. It's not
They
look good
just
for
blew.
Donovan.
They blew a 21-point lead last night against the
Yeah,
Warriors.
yeah, and it's just not been looking good. There's been reports about Donovan Mitchell wanting out, possibly going to the New York Knicks. So you got that. So
Also, keep in mind, and
mm,
I keep my ear to the streets, y'all. Rudy Gobert. Look out! Look out for the Bulls. Uh, look out.
oh,
Hmm.
I
I
think after
also
this
heard
year,
Dallas.
yeah,
I
Dallas
heard
too.
Dallas too.
I
I think
definitely heard
he'll
Dallas.
fit perfectly in Dallas if he goes there. Like,
I think he fits perfectly with the Bulls
Him and
because
Vooch.
no, you trade
You
Vooch.
trade Vooch.
They don't need. See, here's the thing with Chicago to me, and we're gonna get a guest on the show when we do, because like as we go on into the playoffs and as these teams kind of lose, kind of want to have recaps of each team and what their offseason is gonna look like. So want to have I have a guest that's gonna be on on the show for the Chicago Bulls edition. But I think the thing with the Chicago Bulls is that if you look at their team makeup, they don't need a another scoring big. Like they
yeah,
have
they need
two
defense.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. They have two guys that can get any bucket. You have Lonzo that can get a bucket, and you have Caruso that can get a bucket, and you have Ayo that can get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? I think what
Ayo
the,
Dosunmu, right?
right, and
Yeah,
he's good. He's going to be a very good player.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
he's a
think,
spark.
yeah, I think the best decision for them to do is you trade Vooch, right, and you trade Patrick Williams. Because that's the incentive. And you go to Utah and you say, yo, here's Vooch, Patrick Williams, and maybe a pick.
Right.
And you take back Rudy Gobert and maybe I don't know Royce O'Neal, I don't know somebody of that nature, right?
Their championship
Because
windows close.
yeah, their championship windows are close, but
It's
because
close.
I think what Chicago can use is a running big man that could just rebound, block shots, play
Mm.
and rim protect.
So that's why I think he'll fit in pretty well with Dallas because he's a
Oh yeah,
really because you see Luca be running pick and rolls, you know what I mean, and ISO ball, and the way he's making Dwight Powell look. Imagine Rudy Gobert,
no, yeah,
you
for
know.
sure, for sure,
So
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
mhm.
A role
He'll be
that
the
fits
anchor.
him in Chicago
He'll be
rather
the
than
anchor.
in
Mm-hmm.
Dallas. He's clearly the second guy. Where in Chicago, he'll be the third guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, we've seen him as a second guy. It kind of hasn't worked. So,
yeah.
that's that. But continue.
Okay, and wrapping up, I have Dallas and Denver. So I got Philly, Clippers, Memphis,
Phoenix?
Minnesota.
Keep saying Philly.
I keep saying Philly, Phoenix. Well, I don't like the Suns anyway, but yeah, so they gonna choke just like Philly anyway. Minnesota and Memphis, Golden State and Utah, and Dallas and Denver.
Yeah, I have Phoenix locked in as the 1 seed versus the Lakers as the 8 seed. Holding out hope, but no, that's not happening, guys. No, April Fools, whatever. But no, I have the Suns and the Clippers. Actually, no, sorry. I have the Suns and the T-Wolves as a first round matchup. I don't think the T-Wolves are beating the Clippers in a playing game scenario. But I do see the T-Wolves beating the Pelicans or the Spurs. So I have the Suns and Clippers as the 1-8, 2-7. I'm sorry, Suns and T-Wolves as 1-8, 2-7 is Clippers and Grizzlies. 3-6 Dallas and Utah. 4-5 Golden State and Denver. That's my Western Conference. I think the Warriors, being that stuff is done for the year, at least for the
They've been
regular season.
struggling though.
Yeah,
but Jordan Poole's been holding it down though.
Yeah, I just think they're going to lose at least 1 or 2 games coming up. Dallas is on. They've been hot. They're actually winning right now against Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee with at least 4 minutes left to go in the game. They're up by 5. So, pretty impressive. What seems to be a win for Dallas. So, I got Dallas moving up to 3, Golden State dropping to 4, and then I have Utah dropping to 6, and then Denver moving up to 5.
Okay.
All right, so for my Western Conference matchups, I got the Suns obviously playing. I got them playing the Pelicans. So I just think the Pelicans they're on the run. This team started with 1-12 and 3-16 to be where they're at right now. No Zion, so whatever, Ernest, whatever, bro. So I got the Pelicans beating the Spurs, and I got the T-Wolves beating the Clippers for the 7th spot. Pelicans, Clippers for the 8th spot. I got the Pelicans. So Suns, Pelicans 1-8.
Wait. Why
you got to interrupt?
You have the Pelicans beating the Clippers? That's what you said?
Yeah. Listen, stranger things have happened, all right? So I'm going there. All right, so Suns, Pelicans.
You just want an easy first round matchup for everybody.
Listen, it's all about matchups. So
Suns and Pelicans is not a matchup. That is varsity versus JV.
Hey.
Wow.
There's a reason why they're the Suns of the 1
seed. Hey, if that's the case, CJ McCollum better cook up because I wasn't really, this is kind of off topic, but I wasn't really paying attention too much to the game between the Lakers and the Pelicans. Every time we score, CJ McCollum right back. I'm just like,
that's because Frank Vogel will have Avery Bradley guarding him. But,
so yeah, but go ahead.
Jeez.
Anyway, so I got the Grizzlies 2.
So the Clippers and the Lakers are missing the playoffs. So what you got? No LA basketball at all.
Yeah. Listen, I got the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, the 2-7 matchup. I got the Mavs as 3, and the Jazz at 6. And the 4-5 matchup would be the Warriors and the Nuggets.
Woo, hot takes there for sure. Pretty interesting things, again, there's about 4 games left between all the teams left for the playoff start. So we'll see what happens, how things shape out. Definitely going to be some exciting games this coming week. So stay tuned. As we conclude, heading into the playoffs, right? There's obviously team awards, and the whole argument has been about MVP. And the Devin Booker fans, and Devin Booker not being recognized as an MVP candidate. Obviously, you got Giannis, who's certainly making a case now to be MVP. Jokic, who's had a phenomenal year thus far. Possibly on a 50-win pace without his 2 best players. Pretty impressive, putting up astronomical numbers on the on the Nuggets, and then obviously you got Joel Embiid, who has also been carrying the Sixers throughout the whole turmoil with the Ben Simmons situation and kind of keeping them afloat. Where do you guys kind of see the your final prediction of where the awards will end up? We'll start with MVP.
I just wanted to say real quick. I know you just brought up Devin Booker, and he did come to mind when I was thinking about who should be the MVP. But even though they are the first seed, his stats don't put him over the rest. That's the only thing. I think Devin Booker will win the MVP award like in the mid 2000s because of like the velocity of scoring wasn't that high back then. You got guys averaging 30 on a regular. Back then, scoring leaders was like maybe 26,
Mm-hmm.
27, and then he got the 5 assists, the 5 rebounds, to help him out with that. But I don't think like yes, he's a good nomination. I understand why, but
I say this, and I'll let you go. I just want to cut you. Is he doing what Giannis is doing?
that's what I'm saying. I
Exactly,
agree.
Mhm.
Right. That's
exactly.
what I'm
Like
saying.
what I'm
Right.
saying. Like
Is he doing what Embiid is doing? Is he doing what Jokic is doing? Is he doing what Luka's doing?
right,
That's the reason why. Because guys are
even
playing
Ja.
and Ja, right, and guys are playing so much better than him. Yeah, they're the number one seed. They got 60, 62 wins as of right now. But it's like, all right, you've been missing Chris Paul, so we'll still give you that. But it's like your stats aren't really inflated to say, like, yo, if we was to take D Book off this team, right? Like, well, actually, when you think about it, yeah, he's valued, but not as valued as those guys.
Yeah,
So,
like you take Giannis off the Bucks.
right, they miss a
You
lot,
take you
a
take
whole lot,
Embiid off the Sixers.
a
You take
whole
Jokic
lot.
off for the Nuggets.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say
Mhm.
the same thing for Ja because
They
they've
20-2 without
yeah
him.
without him. So
Hmm.
I think he falls out of the whole MVP conversation because his team is still good without him.
Yeah.
Um, but you look at what Giannis. To me, Giannis is my MVP.
Hmm.
He is the best player in the game. I've said this after the finals last year. Like that stamped it for me. 'Cause I had Kevin Durant and obviously LeBron in that conversation, but what what Giannis does on both ends of the floor, none of those guys in MVP conversation kind of do, except for like you can make a case for Embiid a little bit.
Embiid. Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, but to the extent and the force and the impact that you feel in a game, Giannis does it all for me. So
Hmm.
I think Giannis is deserving of MVP. The numbers he's putting up, um, it's just yeah. I got him as MVP, and he's a I got Jokic as a close second. Like it's
Mm.
it's Giannis, Jokic by Giannis by a hair. Then it's Jokic and B, then Devin Booker, then John Morant. Like that's
Mm.
my and then Luca. That's how it
Okay.
goes for
Mhm.
me.
Okay. Um, I had Joel Embiid. Um, I was when I was looking at his stats, I was something really like stood out. His assists, this is career high. He's been doing really great passing the ball, facilitated at the center position. Showed really great from three. I believe 36% for the season. But this is he's averaging a high assist rate even before James Harden got there. So that's something that kind of stood out to me. That was a kind of eye opener. But also with Philly like kind of like losing the past couple of games and going down the playoff standings is kind of going to be hot, really hard for him to win MVP, especially if he don't got that narrative. And I bring that up because one of our followers um, reached out to us and was just like, I'm not sure which one of you guys answered, but about Jokic.
And the
w-
Westbrook
Yeah,
comparison,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
the one who
yeah.
responded to him. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
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 yeah. My boy Klidner. But I was saying that Westbrook got that based off the narrative. He was the
yeah.
sixth seed,
And
right?
that was my point. Like everyone in
Yeah.
the world felt bad for Westbrook and
If he
how
didn't
Kevin
get it,
Durant left. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Kevin
it
Durant
was
had
a
left.
narrative. Hmm.
Right. And you know what I'm saying? He was by himself at OKC. He averaged a triple double. He was able to bring,
Right.
these a bunch of
Break the
role players around
record.
him. Right. He
Yeah.
broke the think about that. His best player left him. They didn't really have a good team around him. He pulled that team to make the playoffs as
The
a
second
6
best
seed.
player was Steven Adams.
Right. He pulled that team to a 6 seed and averaged a triple-double.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To cap it off. And don't forget that same year, and one of the last games of the year, he hit a
You're the game
game-winning
winner.
3 to
Yep.
knock out the Denver Nuggets to make the playoffs. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
you got to give
Yeah.
Russ his credit for that.
That's
Like,
storybook.
Jokic isn't doing that.
Right. So that's just something I thought about, when I thought about Jokic, especially he's going down, but I'm like, yeah, his stats is unbelievable, right? Like I remember I read a stat saying that Jokic might have an NBA season that we never heard of. I get that, but they're so far down in the playoff standing. It's like you could give him an MVP award, but like let's just say 5-10 years down the line, you look at it and be like, wait, why did he win MVP? You know what I mean? Where you look at 2017 and be like, Russ won MVP because he averaged a triple-double. So that's where I stand.
So for me, I got Giannis winning it. I agree with Ernest. It's like the way he plays on both ends of the floor. If you take him off the floor, they're not even near a championship contender. I'm not sure they're even near a playoff contender.
Nope.
So, with him, the way he's playing, especially the last couple months of the season, as they geared towards the playoffs, even though they're like they don't have the best record like they did the last couple years. It's just that his impact on his game offensively and defensively is just like it's just like nowhere where anyone else contending is. So
yeah,
I got him winning the MVP, and I see Jokic as a close number 2. Devin Booker as 3, Embiid 4, and then Luka at 5, Ja Morant at 6.
Oh.
So yeah, that's my MVP for this season.
I just wanted to say real quick. So hold on, real quick. I'm looking at Kobe's stats, right? And I know can't really compare, but Kobe averaged 25, 52, and 4 rebounds for his career. That's what he averaged for his career. Devin Booker averaged something similar to that this season. If D Book is the MVP, let's just say based off that, Kobe's MVP for his career. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I got you, bro.
As we conclude the show today, obviously, my therapy session starts at about 5-10 minutes from now. The Lakers playing the Denver Nuggets. It's a good way for me to let my anger out. It's a good way just to let it all out.
Real quick, you guys want to do a real rapid of like who's like just awards real quick for like most improved coach of the year? I got a list of that right now. I could just go real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, rookie of the year, I got Evan Mobley. Most improved, Jordan Poole. 6th man, Tyler Hero. Coach of the year, Taylor Jenkins. Somebody said Monty Williams. I'm like, interesting. And defensive player of the year,
that Memphis team. Yeah, Taylor Jenkins getting that. So
Taylor Jenkins.
You got to look at the record how they play without their star player.
Right,
that does it right there. Yeah, that does that.
Mm-hmm.
That put it over for me. So I agree. I do like Taylor Jenkins. For the Grizzlies head coach to be coach of the year. Most improved player, I got Miles Bridges from Charlotte. Defensive player of the year. You can make a case for Mikal Bridges. You can.
Yeah.
I think you got to award somebody that if Devin Booker's not getting
cool
MVP,
if
Monty Williams is not getting coach of the year, I say you give Mikal Bridges defensive player of the year honors.
Wow.
Giannis is deserving of that too, which is insane. I obviously got Giannis as my MVP and rookie of the year. You can say Evan Mobley, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
All right. So for me, coach of the year,
I wanted Austin Reeves, but hey.
Come on now.
AR-15.
All right. So for my rookie of the year, I still got Evan Mobley, but Scotty Barnes is making a a real push.
You know, he leads all rookies in all statistical categories right now. I think. Well,
Crazy.
at least in the last like couple months, since the All-Star break actually, he leads
Yeah.
in all statistical categories amongst rookies. So I'm like,
Mhm.
it's not bad, man. Not
Mhm.
bad. He's one of the reasons why they went on this run.
Yeah, so I still got Evan Mobley as rookie of the year. Defensive player of the year, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Marcus Smart.
Okay.
Marcus Smart.
The
That
Eastern Conference the Eastern Conference Patrick Beverly.
I know.
Okay. Okay.
Ever since since the middle of January, they had the best record in the NBA.
Yeah. That.
And
Yeah.
You know what?
and their defense has
I'm
been
hating because he's a
top
Celtic,
5.
but like they're the
Yeah.
best defensive. They have the best defense in the league. So another reason, another narrative, right? Because it's all narrative based and
Mhm.
subjective. It's not objective. If anyone tells you it's not, it's subjective. And you also got to think, okay, if they're the best defensive team, they got to have the best defensive players. So you kind of reward that too. So yeah, it's I can see Marcus Smart.
Mhm.
I can see Marcus Smart.
Coach of the year,
Tom
say
Thibodeau.
Tim. Forget it.
Frank Vogel.
Somebody snap Frank Vogel. Somebody snap Frank Vogel. Oh my God.
All right, so Taylor Jenkins is coach of the year, but Ime Udoka, Celtics. That's you could be on a close
If they
two.
finish the 1 seed, give it
Yeah.
to him.
Remember
With everything that happened this season.
they were at 500, like
Mhm.
19-21
Yeah.
in January, and then they just took off. So
Yeah.
also
for sure.
and defensive player. What's the defensive
Oh
player of
yeah.
the year? The rookie of the
We need
year.
a 6-man. 6-man.
Six man.
I didn't do 6-man either, but go ahead.
Yeah, 6-man. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it to Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
You
it's
hear
probably
that,
gonna be
Sean?
it's probably gonna be Tyler Hero. The greatest shooter in Heat history. So clearly, they got guys over there shooting 22%. But yeah, we're gonna give it to Tyler Hero. I wanted to give it to Carmelo Anthony, but hey, that ain't happened. Yeah. But as we wrap up the show, quick thoughts on the exciting Final Four that we had with Kansas coming out on top versus Villanova, and obviously North Carolina Tar Heels beating Duke Blue Devils, and Mike Krzyzewski's last and final game as a college coach. I told everyone UNC was going to win yesterday. People didn't believe me. I have receipts for that, but I said the pressure for Duke will be too much in this scenario for them, especially against UNC, against a team that beat them in the last regular season matchup. So
they had their number.
yeah, they had their number. Some stories can't be too fairy tale, and that Duke going all the way and Mike Krzyzewski riding up to the sunset as a champion was too fairy tale. So what are your thoughts on that, and what are your predictions for the championship game?
So I think going into the matchup, I seen a stat saying that Duke was 50 and North Carolina was 49, like in terms of like wins. And like, wow, UNC it's tied now, right?
Yeah.
And if Coach K, because remember, we wasn't high on Duke at all, like when we gave our predictions and everything. Pretty much everybody that we named is not here no more, right?
Yeah, I had UCLA winning it all. Come on.
Yeah, not here, right? So I had Purdue, not here, right? So I think if he would have gotten knocked out, it would have been like, all right, cool, we expected that. But the fact is that he made it so far, that's where it had like everybody was hyped, But I mean, North Carolina, there was a questionable call towards the end of the game. I believe there was a foul. He made the layup. I think it should have been continuation.
Oh, Trevor Keels, yeah.
Yeah.
Trevor Keels, they made the layup. They called it on the floor instead of
called it on the floor. That would have tied the game.
Been really bad, man. As of
that would have tied the game. So yeah, I think that was a questionable call. But in terms of the final matchup, I feel like I got Kansas, man. I'm going with the underdog, yo. Kansas came out against Philly and punched them in the mouth. I'm going with Kansas.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Kansas too to win it all. I just think they got something good going. Obviously, beating Nova. And I think North Carolina's championship was the Final Four game. Like I think to them, and I get it. Like championships are the end all be all, but there's something about personal rivalries, and I think to them that was the game that they wanted to get, and I think that'd be it for them.
They finally got over that hump. Like, all right, now let's decompress. But you got one more matchup, so I think Kansas is going to come punch them in the mouth, same way they did Philly.
Nah, I totally agree. Eric, final thoughts before we send it off.
I just felt like Carolina, they made the shots that they needed to make down the stretch. Duke missed a lot of big free throws late. Caleb Love had the shot of the night where up 1, he comes down, shoots the 3, to put him up 4. So, and they just beat him up on rebounding. I mean, like Armando Bangkok had 21 rebounds last night. Good Lord. So it's gonna and Kansas just punched Villanova in the mouth. They were up 10-0, 10-2, and it was like, yep, this is be one of those games. And Kansas was shooting the lights out from 3. Villanova tried to keep it a game, but Kansas was just too much. This is gonna be an interesting game, Kansas and Carolina. Who I got winning? You know what? I think Carolina keeps the momentum going, and they finish it off.
Okay.
Hubert Davis' first season at Carolina, they finish it off. And this is going to be the Roy Williams Bowl, because remember, Roy Williams was the head coach of Kansas before he went back to Carolina, because he was an assistant at Carolina before he got to Kansas. So this is Roy Williams winning all over it, but I got Carolina winning it. Also, don't forget the ladies' championship games tonight, South Carolina and UConn.
Yes, that is a big matchup.
Yes.
I listen. I thought Stanford was going to come out because they're the defending champs. I thought Stanford was going to win, but obviously, South Carolina. I mean, UConn. Come on. But I'm going with Dawn Staley, man. I'm going with South Carolina to beat UConn, man. You know what I'm saying? So
they've been the most dominant team all year long, man.
Yeah. I think UConn had its run, so to speak, of its dominance over women's college basketball. I think we're starting to see a little bit more parity.
South Carolina is very physical.
Very physical. They rebound really well. They shoot really well.
Aaliyah Boston. She is a
monster.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yeah. She's going to be a problem in the WNBA as well. So, yeah, man. Good stuff, guys. To conclude the show for today, look out for us the next episode as we
see y'all next year.
See y'all next year as 3 fans from 3 franchises who don't care about our feelings and our money, signing off from the Swoosh Hoops podcast. Ernest Armastradamus and EricL Beats. Until next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to listen to our podcast on audio.
Yes, sir. And look out
audio streamings.
And look out for us on Twitter, Twitter Spaces and things of that nature. As we get into the crazy stuff with sports and just letting everybody talk and curse each other out. It's beautiful. It's fun. And until next time, guys, peace.
Peace.
Peace.